Good evening, everyone. You're listening to Mellovania, and tonight I'm going to dig into the Castlevania trailer. If you're new here, I'm new here, and I don't actually know all that much about Castlevania, but I've played around half the games, and what I lack in potential lore extrapolations and cutting insights based on my encyclopedic knowledge, I can make up for on just really liking the Whip game. And particularly, I was pretty into Dead Cells. I also wasn't that good at it, but I loved the feel. I was very invested in the game feel, and I've been particularly curious how that's going to translate into here. Now, I've watched all the trailers, but let's go through slower and actually process the fact that there's new Castlevania coming, and it looks good.
Hello,
Yes, that is
I'm Matt
Belmont's
from Evil
Curse.
Empire, the
Hello.
studio behind Castlevania Belmont's Curse.
Uh-huh.
It first worked on
Well, okay. So,
I'm Matt from
first thing.
Evil Empire.
I've been noticing. Okay, so here's the thing. I'm going to be annoying. I haven't really processed my thoughts on the fluid versus the stiff. I feel like that's something where people look at this and they're like, I can make a lot of concessions for my Castlevania, but it's got to have like a satisfying, intentional, like yada yada movement, which I feel like everybody defines differently, maybe. But I agree. I feel like there is a particular something to the Castlevania feel. And I'm like, is it that the jump height is really short? It's like, no, not really by the time you get to a lot of Ecavanias. And like, is it the stiffness? It's like, yeah, but elaborate. I don't know. At the same time, well, you'll see what I mean.
Studio behind Castlevania Belmont.
Okay, so her hop isn't that big there, but I don't know if it gets bigger later. The whip. The whip was tuned to feel so good in Dead Cells. I watched the interview bit and they're like, yeah, we want the whip. The whip is a really important part of this. We wanted it to be very satisfying. And like they have the right to say that. They have the right to really talk whip because they got that whip feeling so snappy and satisfying, and particularly getting like tippers, getting the tip part of it to hit for a critical. They really got the game feel down there. So I've been watching the whip, and particularly,
Curse.
oh, so she slid over and then she did some kind of like slashing as she went, which was really fun. Just a really good
Hello,
way to
I'm
play
Matt from
into
Evil
the
Empire, the
I
studio
am
behind
slinging myself
Castlevania
around the
Belmont's
map
Curse.
type of gameplay. It's like a sword made out of pure light.
Hello,
Am I
I'm Matt
wrong?
from Evil Empire,
Am I
the studio
wrong?
behind
Is that a sword
Castlevania
made out of pure
Belmont's
light?
Curse.
I mean, the whip itself is made out of pure light. Okay, I haven't processed anything about this. This game got revealed on my birthday, which was a very sweet birthday gift, but it wasn't even in the top 10 things I had to process that day. There was so
First
much
worked
fun
on his
going on.
beloved
Here
franchise with a
is, yeah,
return to
Dead Cells.
Castlevania
The
DLC
the
for
art
Dead Cells.
direction in
Since
Dead
then,
Cells is so good. The art direction here is so good with the balance of the just pick a color. There's the yellow rooms, there's the red rooms, and you've got your blue greens and stuff to balance it. But the contrast between the blackness, the really articulate shapes in the color is like, this is gonna make me 8 times gother. This looks so good, and they flaunt this in like every scene. Yeah, that looks like she's pulling the weapon. Oh, it's so sick. It's like I guess it's, in my opinion, it's kind of a spoiler, but it's like a particular kind of move from Hornet's moveset in Silk Song, that slash, that really strong overhead wide horizontal slash. It's very satisfying. It looks like there might be a trail of darkness in the attack animation. Oh, and she pivoted so fast. If this was Super Smash Brothers, I'd be saying you just got jared. My friend Ben just jared you with his Croy. She pivoted so quickly.
with a return to Castlevania DLC for Dead Cells.
Yeah, for
Since
Dead
then,
Cells.
we've
So she did the.
moved away.
No, also it is really funny actually how specific that is to Silk Song. I was like, oh wow, that's an extension of the whip. That's a move from Silk Song. That's one of the better moves from Silk Song. It is funky how a few of these things got developed at the same time as other things.
From our
Oh my god, the slash, and it's like lagless, and she turns around and does
and
these,
have been busy
I think,
building a
actual steel
brand
sword attacks after.
Dead Cells. Since
I gotta
then,
get better at
we've moved
clicking
away
here.
from our roguelike roots and have been busy
That's just satisfying. The slicing there was very slow. It almost reminded me of like, how do you even say? Like an action RPG more than an action game, which is a point in the Igavania feel surviving, or any Castlevania feel surviving. This is maybe Notre Dame or whatever. I genuinely don't know in real life or in game. People, I think, were saying that Notre Dame or whatever is here.
building a
Oh my goodness. So there's that yellow and blue color scheme again that I think we use in a lot of the. I feel like it's a lot of Sonia's colors right there. But then there's this Joan of Arc character who I now realize was in the original trailer, but just is so much more of a character here. We see up close, she has good hair. The sword is very like, it's like kind of rotting. I think the character portraits are kind of the big reveal today for me. This is just, oh, so the eyes are totally just light. You can see the kind of like possession feel. There's a lot of expressiveness in the see, I have a minor in character sprites now. I've been burned out of Metroidvanias, but I've been playing a lot of RPGs and visual novels. This is a really good expressive sprite because she's praying and she's holding her sword. She looks very serious and composed and also kind of like, I don't know, penitent, pious, whatever you want to say. The just like pure orb of light around her. Does it move with her? I guess we didn't. We'll see it later, but sure, why not? Let's just add circles of pure light to our visual style. The random purple lantern looked really good there. Yeah, or whatever it is. Maybe this is a hook for your whip. Look at that hook for that whip. Oh man, Silk Song and Sonia were reading from the same textbook at the same time, and they didn't even know.
Well as collabs with external studios. Evil Empire's tribute turned out so good, we really couldn't miss the chance to work with them again.
No, you couldn't.
Together, we're continuing our collaboration for the 40th
All right,
anniversary of
we
the
have
franchise.
wall jump. The wall jump right there. It's pretty narrow, or it's very It's not a very tall jump. It's a very. Okay, I didn't desire that, YouTube. The way she's jumping, it's. They mentioned they want to bring a lot of verticality into this game, but even then, it's not. It's not the tallest jump. You're still covering a relatively small distance. I feel like Sonya looks like she keeps very low to the ground in the same way that the beheaded or whatever the hell his name was in Dead Cells does. Because while obviously that was a really fluid game, I feel like having this like relatively small area where you can affect things, having to keep yourself low to the ground, it kept a little bit of something akin to Castlevania, or these days maybe a bit more Soulsy, where you're more like rolling, you're rolling versus jumping out of the way. You're not just flying all around the place like a really upgraded Samus would. Something about keeping low makes the character feel a little bit heavier, and it makes your action feel a little bit more intentional. And for that reason, I have been keeping this little hope that it's like, even though this is super fluid, snappy, crazy, I feel like it's still going to have that Castlevania crunch, just like a different flavor, a third different flavor. It's not super stiff and limited. It's not even just like stiff and awkward action RPG stuff. She's straight up flinging around. But because she relies on flinging so much and she can't move that much on her own, I still feel like it's going to have a little bit of that crunch. Oh my gosh, that is so cool. I heard you like the crosserang crazy cross thing. We're going to make it as big as you are and really, really pretty. That's the Medusa head. That's almost as big as we are, and you could argue that it's pretty. But every time I've seen this cross, it just looks so good. I mean, hey, what even are the sub-weapons going to be? Because I haven't played every Igavania, but they handle them very differently.
As a Belmont, you will hunt down monsters.
It's mostly the same. Oh, the stack of skulls. The stack of skulls is very long and pointy and has kind of hair the same way Medusa head did. It's a lot of the same, like, starting an attack and then doing another attack on the whip. This is the Fallen. I don't think he's as cool of a character design as Joan of Arc, but he is cool.
Descending into the skull-lined catacomb.
Oh, so that was discovering an area. I guess it was just punching a wall. It didn't really break. The entire wall went away, but it didn't really look like it broke. I don't know how satisfying that is. I don't know, whatever. So you're whipping over. There she is. Yeah, no, the circle of light moves with her. That was a design choice. She looks like a little abbey boy. She looks like a little monk boy who just like had her hair cut by a bull.
Legends like Joan of Arc.
Oh, that's such a Dead Cells thing, having her drag the sword and then launch the big attack. And we're using this famous whip grab mechanic above, which makes it a little bit more I don't know, video gamey, less just grindy, I suppose. A little more action.
Only berets and baguettes are missing.
Oh, so that time she had a rising attack, a kind of uppercut when she landed. I just think it's genius that, we're sticking to the whip, so we're adding action to it, but these like cancels, these things where you whip cancel, you whip yourself over, use the momentum and press a new move. That is so unique. Just literally taking the one action and doubling the intensity by giving it two.
Baguettes are missing, but I think you've had enough of that
Oh, the slide. The slide was real good, and she went under her feet, which is effective.
already. And what
Kind of an up tilt, and then
only berets and baguettes are missing, but I think
so it looks like a fighting game character. She basically just jabbed, slid. That was a really fast turnaround. And then, yeah, kind of like a rising punch. You get like an up tilt in a fighting game. And then she rolls away so quickly and so acrobatically. She plays like a fighting game character. I mean, that back roll is... I guess it's simultaneously the most and least Castlevania thing. I was going to say that's so fluid. That's so fluid that's never going to feel like Castlevania. But it's a backslide. Like, that's a thing. That's an Egavania thing. She can do all she wants for moving backwards, and it's still going to feel like Castlevania. It's just moving forwards that she needs some help with the whip.
and what
Yeah, that's a good... I would love to spam that if I have to spam that.
of Paris when
Oh, and this is one of those moments where the art style comes through.
Dracula's castle finally
And she even
emerges.
has the circle.
Well, you have to wait a little longer.
It's a good castle, Your Honor. It's a good. They chose their color, the blacks, and it's so pointy and it's so. That's good. That's good. She's holding. Yeah, no, it's a real chain whip, but it has that yellow right in the center, almost like a gem. Maybe it's giving it some kind of magical power, some kind of holy energy that flows through it. But the sword, that's different. I mean, that could be the hilt of a sword. It's not an uncommon vampire killer design. Or maybe I'm thinking about the instructor Bensei video here. Is the steel flail kind of look? Is that like a Castlevania anime inspired thing? I don't really know. But the hilt right there, all you got to do is turn that yellow energy into a energy sword and start it there, and you've got a lightsaber. It looks like a good sword hilt.
Castlevania, Belmont's curse.
It's so true, though. It's so true, bestie. And I love this hand. I love the fuchsia. I'm a big fan of evil fuchsia hands after Metroid Dread. Ah, the harpsichord. I didn't invite you here. This isn't your moment. You gotta pay me now. I watched that.
Curse.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. There's just a lot under the hood here. I was noticing while rewatching my own video how much detail goes into the backgrounds. They mentioned it seems like it might be a interconnected city map for which you eventually add Dracula's castle to, which I think is going to check my very, very particular Symphony and Super Metroid centric boxes for being called a proper Metroidvania and not just like a generic adventure game. I need there to be like one setting that you explore. You don't just hop around all over the place. Order of Ecclesia goes to the Order of Edge cases for me. I thought, and this still kind of is, when I heard this about summoning Dracula's castle, it would be a return to Order of Ecclesia, which I have said would be like the best way to continue the series going forward. I feel like it's maybe something I don't know that they've already done, or maybe something new, where it is a big seamless connected map, and then you just add the final section, which is sounds fun. It's not crazy ambitious in that case, but the city fits it. They really talk a lot about Paris in that interview video. It's another Paris-like game where you explore the city of Paris. Like, look at the backgrounds. This is really nice. And I guess you can see the kind of reverse incestuous generational flow of ideas here with Hollow Knight, right? Because they accidentally invented a bunch of Silk Song concepts with the whipping and the snapping. And okay, that's not original to Silk Song, but they created a very similar feel in what I'm seeing here. And in a way, I could sit and probably draw comparisons between the Hollow Knight art style and this, with the dark, intricate, layered, rich, detailed, and then like one or two major colors. You could almost actually, it has its own unique feel, but if you were to put it side by side with Hollow Knight, it'd be like, yeah, cynically, this is kind of Castlevania in the era of Hollow Knight, which isn't a bad thing at all. Man, that moon, they just let it be nice and big. They let it be nice and big if that's going to be better. I love this area, the leaves and the... Wow, this is going to be a good one. Look at all this detail. It's like statues, some people having a bad day. There's carvings on the wall. Candles, more candles. This is good. I hope the game's not too big. I hope they just make an amazing, somewhat small, super tight, super polished action game, and I can replay it all the time. I don't need it to be super long, but those are just my kind of delirious thoughts. What are you feeling about Castlevania? Don't tell me. Do not. You could tell me.